And we'll go right ahead and get started. And we'll start with Joe Chats from On Tap Sportsnet.
Well, thanks for the intro, Frank. Really do appreciate it. How are you
No
doing
problem,
today?
buddy.
Just curious, last week with this role, what do you want to see not only for your team but for the franchise really as this is the last week and you can kind of say goodbye to this role before embarking on a new journey?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's just important to finish uh, uh, on a positive note if we can, whatever that means. Obviously, winning would be the best thing possible. It's the last game of the season. It's the last home game, and it's great to have it at home. And I think, listen, I mean, we're professionals. We have to work extremely hard and prepare just as we did from, if it's day one or if it's the last day, it's the same mentality and attitude. And just, one last time for this group, because I'm sure a lot of things will change. It's inevitable that we try to put everything we can and their last home game and do whatever we can to finish on a positive note. That's the most important thing. I think that we owe that to we're professionals. We owe that to ourselves, to our fans, to the organization, and I think that's been my message all along. I think for me, it's just every game have that mentality to try to do whatever it takes to win. And there's no different for this game.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Alex Calabrese from Men in Red 97.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Alex, another guy I'm gonna miss, but I'll see you
Yes,
guys
it's weird to
around.
think. Yeah, we'll see you around. I mean, I've got two questions. So we'll
Okay?
start with the first one. I just want to know it's been a busy last 8, 9 days with the announcement and everything. So
Yeah.
what response have you seen from the players in light of this news and going into this last game?
No, I mean, yeah, uh, it's different how everybody, I think handles every situation. I think that every player obviously in a different position. Some guys, their contracts are up. Some guys are in option years. How they process everything. I mean, I really haven't seen anything different. I think the trainings have been good. The trainings have been sharp, and I think that's the important thing. Um, so for me to tell you that I've seen something like the players are down, the players are this. No, I think they understand. They're professionals. I know that there's some of them have some questions that need to be answered. We all know that, but I think we have to be professionals and we have a commitment to the club and to ourselves and to make sure that we do whatever we can to every time we step on the field to present ourselves in the right way and do whatever we can to get the 3 points for the club. So I really haven't seen anything different, so. I've been in it for a long time. I think people understand that, in every season that changes will be made. And I think for me that changes are always good, whether how you make those changes. I think that, we finish the season, we reflect, and we all look to improve and get better. And I think that's part of change.
And looking toward next season now, obviously Greg is someone you've known for a really, really long time and you're pretty close with as
I'm
well.
excited.
So
I'm excited, Alex.
you're going to be the vice president of football. So I'm curious, based on your discussions with Greg, with Joe, what do you think that role is going to involve on a daily basis?
Look, I do a lot of stuff for the club as it is. And I mean, just to backtrack a little bit, I mean, a couple months ago when I went to dinner with Georg Heitz, the sporting director, and I knew there was something different about it. And when he told me that he was stepping away and moving on, and then at that time he's someone that's done a lot of great work for the club and cares for the club, and we were talking about what possibly could be some really good people that can step in, and when he said Greg, for me, it was like a no-brainer. I said, let's go forward and do whatever we can. So I did whatever I could on the background, knowing that I've been trying to transition to a different role for years with the club. But every time I've been asked to step in situations, it's been an honor for me to do so. But I think with this opportunity, we couldn't pass up, and I'm glad that I knew one thing. I mean, I could sell him as much as I could, but the minute he had an opportunity to meet our owner, I know that he would understand why this is such a great opportunity for him and for the club. So for me, I think in my role, I mean, I'm gonna do a lot of things. First of all, obviously, I will be there to help Greg with the first team, whether it's scouting, when we need to go see, players, I will be there. Obviously, a big part of my work will also focus on the academy and identifying the talented players working on their IDPs, making sure we bring players up when we need to the second team who can potentially be the new homegrown players. How are we challenging these younger players to improve? Working with the academy director also. My affiliation and connection with Lugano, I have the context there, so I'm the point of reference and the key contact there with the people at Lugano, but also do a lot of work with the front office with Dave, and whether it's going to speak to potential sponsors and our partners and stuff. I'm always available to do that. So it's not just one thing. It's I'll have a little bit of ham everywhere, but my main focus will be there to whatever Greg needs to support him, because I think our most important priority is getting the first team right. And I've said it before that this would be probably the most crucial offseason in the club's history, and I think we've started in a really positive way. But there's a lot of work left to be done, and I'm there to support Greg, to support the club, to support Joe, and I would, I want nothing more but for us now. There's a lot of good groundwork that's been laid there, Alex. I think a big move also going into the new performance center. There's so much positive. There's so much potential for the club, and I think the last piece is just making the right decisions with the first team. And I think there's a huge opportunity to do so in this off season.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Tim Hotsey, also from Men in Red 97.
Hey Frank, good to hear from you again. So
Thanks, Tim.
you mentioned reflecting 57 games in charge over this part of your tenure, 58 coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
I know that the results haven't been what I think anyone hoped that they might be on the pitch, but what are some things that you're proud of from this experience with the club?
No, I mean, I think, Tim, if you look back, I mean, I've stepped in as an interim coach more than once, and I've always felt like in the most difficult moments, I've turned the club around and gave the fans hope and everyone hope. I did it last year and also last time when Rafa was here. And at that moment, even when I was stepping in, my role was different, but I always, seemed to be attached with the first team, to be there to help in any way I can. And that's not at times where I felt always most difficult. But look, it's been an honor. When I was asked again to step in as a coach, there was no chance I would have said no, because then I didn't want to be in a position to have regretted something and an opportunity not to do so. So it's an honor for me. I think just my commitment, myself, the staff that I brought in, and everyone, I think we worked extremely hard. That's the one thing, for me, we're here extremely early in the morning. The hours that we put in, it's just not me. It's just the people that I've been able to bring on board too. And the guys that it's all about, most important thing for me is always try to bring the right people, good people on board and competent people. So I think for me, it's just a commitment, making, and I feel really, regardless of the results, I think we've been really close, but we need to take the next step. But I think for me, I have no regrets, because I feel like we've done everything that we possibly could, the way we work, the way we try to prepare. And from that standpoint, for me, it's been, hopefully we finish on a positive note. I want nothing more than that for our fans to be at least the last game of this season, to finish on a positive note. But I'm proud of the work that that we put forth with the group here. We worked extremely hard, and I know it's not evident with the results, but that's just one part of it. So and now there's another chapter, so I have to make sure that I'm as committed, which I am, and I want nothing more than to see this club lift a trophy. I've always been a team player. I want nothing more than to bring the best people here and support the club in any way. And it'd be great for me. I've always said it'd be great that one day we can lift a trophy with 70-80% of the guys on the field being homegrown players.
And switching topics a little bit, you mentioned, being a team player. We're meeting Greg Berhalter tomorrow in the introductory press conference in his new dual role with the Fire.
Yeah.
I think it was over the summer you said that basically it would be difficult to imagine somebody filling that dual role these days, just given how much work there is.
Yep.
You obviously were part of the process that brought him in here. What convinced you that Greg was the kind of guy that could basically do two more than full-time jobs?
Well, I think, look, the league is different now. I think he did that role when he was in Columbus, yeah, years ago. I think he's also matured, also as a coach, his ability to handle different roles. I mean, that's been asked of him. I think being a part of the national team and having the responsibility of developing uh, a game model for the whole organization to do that, to make sure that everything runs properly, not also with the first team, but all the way down, whether it's the U20s, the Olympic team. So he's been involved with that, but also he understands that you need to bring yeah, good people with you along the way. Not one person can, he also understands that he's a smart person. So I'm sure he has a lot of um, excellent people that want to join them and be a part of this great club, because I believe that this club is right here, is ready to take off. There's so much potential here, and um, I think those are reasons. I can go to a lot many more. I know Greg as a person, as a human being. He's a great family person. He's a great person inside, but he's an extremely hardworking guy. Sets really high demands of himself and others, and there's a purpose to everything we do, and then we all have to go out and reach those goals and their purpose. And in the end, it's trying to build this club to be the premier club in North America.
All right, thank you for that, and good luck on Saturday.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
Thank you. We have time for one more short question from
Well,
Jim
hopefully we'll see
Alexander.
you guys all tomorrow. I'll be at the press conference, so any more questions you can ask there,
Jim, I saw your hand just went down. Did you still have a question?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
had to ask Coach something here.
No Euro questions, man. Come on. No more.
I'm gonna miss that, Coach. But you're always gonna be coach to me, so hopefully I
But
can.
I'll see you guys, man. It's been an honor working with you guys, and hopefully I'll see you Saturday on a positive night to finish the season. But on a personal note, I want to thank all of you guys, because you've been extremely hardworking, dedicated professionals, and I have the utmost respect for all you guys, and I know you care about the club also. So it's I want to thank you all, and I'll do it again Saturday. But I'll see you around, Jim.
Absolutely. And Coach, quickly, was there ever? I know you're such a face of the fire, or at least for me, you always be. Was there any sort of thought that maybe you wanted to take a look at other opportunities outside, or did you always want to remain with the organization? Was that
Oh,
that kind of your goal here?
no, always. When I came back from Montreal, I knew that my coaching days were over. I never wanted to leave Chicago. First of all, it was extremely tough from a family standpoint, and I knew. Look, I had really good moments in Montreal, but there was nothing. Even the worst moments here could not, reach the good moments there, if I could just say. So there was no place for me. I never wanted to be, a coach of any other team. So when I came back in, I started with the TV stuff, and then obviously when Joe bought the team and brought George Heights in and brought Rafa, I knew Rafa, and when they asked me to step in, I never, my goal was never from that position to be a head coach. I've stepped in a couple times. I was asked to a couple times. I had a different role that I had agreed with George Heights, our sporting director at that time, but that was still with the first team. So I was always looking to transition at a different role with all my experiences in the sport. And I knew that I could help. And my goal was never to leave. If I didn't work here as a coach, I wasn't going to leave the city and go somewhere else. So that's why it's been really an honor for me. It's also a great opportunity and an honor for me to step in this new role. And I'm looking forward to it. And there'd be no better place for me to do it in the city I love, in the team that for me, I finished my career with. I love this team, and I want to do whatever I possibly can to make it successful. We're very close. I think a big move was bringing Greg here. I did whatever I could to convince him, but in the end, it was, Joe had the final say, and I knew once he met Joe, I think that I knew that he was going to agree to come. So, you know, I don't
Thank
know what
you,
else to
Frank.
say, Jim. Thank you, buddy.
Happy to hear that. See you this week.
Sounds good. Take care.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate your time, and we will be back
See you
shortly
guys
with
tomorrow at the press conference. Thank you.
for taking the time to speak with us for the last regular season press conference of the year. And we'll go right ahead and get started with Joe Chats from On Tap Sportsnet.
Thanks, C. Thanks, Chris. How you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, doing just dandy, thanks. Curious, obviously been some news in and around the organization. You've been someone involved with U.S. soccer as well. Curious, just your thoughts on Greg being brought in, not only as head coach, but director of football.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how it goes. I mean, I've met him a couple times in the past. It's good we brought in someone with such an extensive resume. But yeah, I've only really met him when he introduced himself and back with the U20 national team. So um, just really excited to see what's in store.
And in terms of being challenged by potentially, a new work environment, how excited are you just to get maybe a new voice in your head or someone else to push you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for possibly a new play style. It's exciting to try out new things, do things differently. But yeah, I mean, it's for having a coach who's so experienced, like I said, being able to give you his 2 cents is it's very valuable to me. So I'm like I said, I'm excited to see what changes might happen next season.
Understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Alex Calabrese from Men in Red 97.
Hey, Chris, how's it going today?
What's up? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I know it's the topic of the week is Greg Berhalter. I know you only had him for very briefly in that pre-World Cup U20 combined camp. I think that's the only time you got to work with him. But
Yeah.
with that in mind, and maybe conversations you've had with teammates here, U20 teammates, whatever, what maybe are you expecting is going to be different with him as a head coach?
I know he's very detail oriented. I know even when he came in, you could kind of tell he's super big into analytics. He reads a lot into just even a personal conversation. Like he's very analytical. Like he pays attention to all the little details, and that's something that excites me because I feel like I have similar character traits to that. And so someone like that, for me, it just shows he's really on it. Like he really knows what he wants to do. He's listening for certain things. But yeah, that's kind of in my interaction with him in that camp. That's kind of what I got from it. And then in meeting him again when he came to introduce himself, that's sort of what I got. So yeah, I mean, we'll see.
And over the years, Zach Steffen in Columbus, Matt Turner with the national team, he seems to have a pretty good track record with goalkeepers. They tend to do pretty well under him. Is there anything specific that you think he might be able to help you after a difficult season this year?
Yeah, I know he's big on building out of the back. That's something you saw with his time with the national team and going back to his time in Columbus. So I'm excited to work on that part of my game. And like I said with Joe's question, it's always good to work on something new. So yeah, excited to see his preferences with that and the areas I guess I can grow. I'm always looking to get better. So
Awesome. Thank you.
yep.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Tim Hotsey from Men in Red 97.
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking the time with us.
Mhm.
A few weeks ago, you almost kind of like stopped us as we were heading out in the locker room and made sure to shout out Tom Barlow and what a
Yeah.
good teammate he's been in training.
Yes.
In your second year as a starter, can you also talk about the relationship that you've had with the other goalkeepers that have been training with the first team?
Yeah, yeah. So with I mean, I could start off with Spencer Ritchie. He's great to have, especially in training sessions, in the goalkeeper sessions, because he's really good at stopping a drill, not necessarily stopping a drill, but when a drill's over, he gives his pointers that are always super applicable because obviously he's also a goalkeeper, but he's also very experienced, so he's been through all of it. And he's someone that I definitely found myself listening to deeply when he gives recommendations on how to do certain things differently to obviously better my game. And then with Jeff, he came in with all the experience in Sweden, and he's got a clean side volley on him, so that's something I've been learning from him about. But he's also just a great human being, so that's something I've been taking from him, especially in and around the locker room. I know guys they love talking to Jeff, so he's very friendly, very sociable. That's something that I've tried to grow my own character and base that off of him. So yeah, no, it's I'm definitely happy with my goalkeeper core right now. But yeah,
All right, awesome. Thanks, and best of luck on Saturday.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Jim Alexander from Real Talker.
There I go. I was muted. Hey, Chris. Uh,
Oh,
wanted to ask you about Pochettino. Is there been any? Obviously, he's now rebuilding the national team. Has there been any contact? Or are you kind of paying close attention to what's going on there, potentially for any goalkeeping opportunities that might be available? So kind of wondering how you've been monitoring that situation, and has there been any sort of feelers sent out?
yeah, I mean, since the Olympics, I haven't been reached out to by anybody at U.S. Soccer. But like I always do, I pay attention to what's going on at the U20, U23, and the senior team levels. So always ready. My doors open. But I mean, for me, my focus is more so just getting better each day, with each game, with each season, and just trying to grow into the best keeper I can be. And then for me, that's sort of something that comes later.
Hmm. And also, obviously, we're entering sort of Frank's last game. He's been a big supporter of you, even with us, standing up for you when you weren't called up for the Olympics. He was mad about it, basically. What sort of reflections do you have about Frank and him getting coached by him, and now sort of this being the last time he's going to be the head coach? If you can share any sort of memories or just feelings about Frank.
Yeah, the biggest thing that stands out to me is no one loves this club more than Frank. I mean, you could say what you want about him, but no one has the type of passion and connection that he has to this club. And I know he loves this club deeply, and he wants to see us go very far. But that's always throughout ups and downs. Like that's sort of the one thing that always stuck with me, and all the other guys on the team can agree. All the other coaches can agree, and you kind of just see it when he's walking around. Like that's a part of who he is. Is the fire. So that's the biggest thing for me that stood out with Frank is nobody who's been here or will be here loves this club more than him.
Thanks for sharing that, Chris.
Mhm.
See you
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go back to Alex Calabrese.
Yes, thanks, E. I have one more very quick question. So Fire 2 have a playoff game this weekend, and building off of Tim's question about the other goalkeepers, Patrick Loos has been playing a lot for them. Stitch has been training with the first team a bit too. So I'm curious what your relationship is with those younger goalkeepers in the academy and what you've seen from them as they develop.
Yeah, I would say if I'm thinking about myself as sort of a leader and a role model, I wouldn't say I'm too vocal. I would say I lead by example in what I do. So when I do get opportunities to train with them, I just hope that they're picking up on the things that I do, that maybe they can apply to their game. But off the field, very friendly. I know we've grown up together forever, throughout the academy and such, but I will be at that game, so I will be cheering them on and yeah, I mean, best of luck to them. But it's good to see the way that both of them have developed into such adult keepers, I guess. Because in the back of my mind, I'm always remembering them as these little like youth 13, 12, 14 age keepers, and now they're grown. So yeah, it's good to see the way they've developed.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll go last question to Joe Chats.
Yeah, well, Alex got my Fire 2 question out of the way, so thank you to him. Chris, I gotta ask you, if there is a game on Saturday for you, for this team against Nashville, when it was such a frankly annoying goal to give up, like, is there an extra little want to maybe just because that was obviously for you guys one of those games where you felt like you could have got something from it?
For sure. Like you just said there, I 100% agree with you. And I know everybody shares the same feeling that we should have gotten away with a result. If not a win, definitely a tie. But yeah, that game was a shame the way it ended, and I know we have a lot more to give. Even though, like you said, it's the last of the season, I know we're going to be wanting to go out there with some passion, especially with all the changes that could potentially happen. So we're all on edge. We're all ready to go. We're all fired up, and I know this week of training has been particularly sharp, and I think that has something to do with it. But yeah, I'm ready to go out there and stick it to him because I don't think that result showed what that game should have showed.
Understood. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the call. And thank you, Chris, very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.